Clarity on Fire, a podcast for people who know what they don't want out of their life and career, but aren't sure what they'd rather be doing.
In a world where it's easy to exist, but hard to feel alive, we, Kristen
and Rachel,
2 certified life and career coaches, are here to help you cut through the information overload, get unstuck, and focus not just on how you can have a career you're passionate about, but how to create a whole life that feels fulfilling.
So join us here, where we serve up inspiration and down-to-earth wisdom in a way that only 2 best friends can.
We want you to experience the relief of knowing that, yes, you're allowed to want more out of your life and career.
And no, you don't have to wander through the dark anymore. Our job is to light the fire that shows you the way. Let's go. Well, the universe wanted us to do this. Do you agree?
Yeah, I guess so. All roads led to this.
It was completely unintentional. We had a normal person scheduled, and then Kristen got sick and had to reschedule it, and now the normal person got sick and had to reschedule it, and so now...
It wasn't meant to be this month.
We just didn't have... We had 2 days to come up with an interview episode, which is not going to happen. We weren't going to find and be able to record an interview with a new person in 48 hours. So instead, I came up with the idea to do a random, but also well-timed celebratory episode because
it's our anniversary month, you guys.
This is our anniversary. Technically, our podcast came out on April 10th, 2018, and now it's April 12th. So
almost perfect timing.
And then they did come out, I think they came out on that Tuesday. So either really it was earlier this week when we really, but whatever. The whole month can be a celebration. And I already have an episode on tap for later this month that was meant to be more of my special episode. But whatever, now we have 2 episodes. If you really like Krachel, you're getting a lot of us this month.
We're making the whole month our anniversary month. Why not? We can do that.
Just a little bit extra. So, okay, so forgive me, but I had like 2 hours to come up with what we were going to do.
But I'm actually really excited about it. So it's a great idea.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys know about this, and I will link to this article so that you can read it for yourself. But there's a study that came up with 36 questions that you can ask anyone that lead to falling in love. And there's this essay from about 4 years ago on the New York Times where this woman named Mandy Catrone wrote an article called "To Fall in Love with Anyone, Do This." And it refers to an older study by someone named Arthur Aaron, a psychologist, that explored intimacy between strangers and was kind of figuring out, is there any way you can accelerate intimacy? And so she tried this. Like, she asked these 36 questions on a date, or she had a date with a man and they asked these questions and then they ended up getting married. So I thought it would be really funny and entertaining and just enlightening for Kristen and I to play this game.
Well, a shortened version. We're not going to... I think there was 36 questions.
Yeah, there's 36.
So we're not going to ask each other that many questions.
Yeah. So there's 3 sets of questions, and each set is intended to be deeper and more probing than the last set. So Kristen and I each picked 2 questions from each set. And
no, we each picked 1 question that we're going to ask the other person.
Well, I meant collectively.
Yes.
Right. We each picked a single question from each set. And so we have 6 questions that we're going to go back and forth and ask each other. And I really encourage you guys, if you haven't heard of this, to go look at all 36 questions. Some we couldn't pick because we don't want to talk about the answers on a podcast.
Some are quite personal and related to other people in our lives who maybe we don't necessarily want to
talk about on the podcast.
Right.
Like, you know, maybe your parents don't want to know how you really feel about them. Well, that's one of the questions. It's like, how do you feel about your relationship with your parents? It's like, that's a pretty probing question, but good on a date, I think.
Sure, absolutely.
So anyway, so there's some that were easy to gloss over. Some were harder to pick, but we narrowed it down to 6 of the 36. And I do think that this is a great way to get to know anybody better, not just someone you're on a date with. I think any of these questions are interesting to learn about your friends or your coworkers.
Absolutely. They're just about being more vulnerable with people in your life. That's the point of the questions. Yeah. So it's not necessarily things that are going to make you fall in love. I don't think Rachel and I are going to fall in love at the end of this episode.
I think that I've had an ample opportunity. And if it hasn't happened yet, I think that my feelings for you remain stolidly platonic.
It is how it is. But
okay, so
I do think that we might surprise each other.
With our answers?
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I don't totally know what you're going to say about some of these, and I'm sure you don't know what I'm going to say about some of these.
Yeah. So you can know someone for over a decade and still be surprised by some of these answers.
Which I think is fun, because I really think that you can get into a rote place in life where even people you know really well, you don't actually talk to on this deep level anymore.
Yeah.
And I think it's good to reawaken intimacy in a relationship or encourage deeper connection. And don't we all need that? Aren't we all kind of suffering from that as a culture? So I wanted to do something fun, but also helpful.
Yep.
And encourage you guys to do the same with the people in your life. So, okay, you ready?
Okay.
All right, here's our section 1. I'm asking the first question, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just making sure I'm doing this right. Okay. All right. Do you have a secret hunch about how you'll die? Oh, I guess we should have said that we're going to each answer the question, because it would be kind of not fun, but we each picked a question, and I don't know what she picked and she doesn't know what I picked.
Right. But we're going to answer it nonetheless. Both of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do
you have a secret hunch about how you'll die?
I don't know if I have a hunch. I don't know if this is what I think will happen, but I'll tell you what I would prefer to happen.
Great. That counts.
Sure. So
yeah, how are you looking forward to dying?
This might be controversial, but whatever. This is my answer. So
okay.
I think this was on a podcast recently.
Oh, I know.
Do you know what I'm going to say now?
It was on the Daily. And This was over a year ago.
Yeah.
This was not that recent.
Yeah. There was an episode of The Daily where they talked about, this was something that happened in Canada. I don't think this happened in the States.
No, because you can't do it.
You can't do it
except in 3 or 4 states here.
Right. So there was a terminal elderly assisted death.
Yeah, and he had a death day he had a funeral before he died.
Right, exactly.
And he went to his own funeral.
Exactly. That's what I want to happen. So he was terminally ill. He knew he was going to die. And they picked a day where they were going to assist him in that experience of death.
And he got to say goodbye to everybody.
Yes, he got to attend his own funeral. How cool is that? He had all his friends and family come the day he was going to die, and they all shared nice memories about him, and he got to say goodbye to all of them.
I love that.
And then his family was around him holding his hands while he passed. And I'm like, that sounds great to me.
Can we just do that on the same day? Can we just...
Sure.
That's kind of what I want to do. I'm like, because we've done everything together, so why not just have a joint death day party? It would save a lot of money too, because
and all our friends
all the same people would come.
Right, exactly.
You know, right. It just feels, I like that.
Yeah.
We have to pick an age at which, because honestly, I don't think I would need to be terminally ill. I think I would just get to a certain age where I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Right.
I don't want to do this anymore. You know, it's not that big of a deal.
More about quality of life.
Yeah, if my quality of life is slipping, I feel like if I'm lucid and I make that decision, I think that's great. I mean, we do it to dogs.
Right.
And I think that it's totally fine if people are of the right mind and that's what they really want. And I think that's great. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, that would be, again, I don't know if that's my hunch, but it's my preference.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on the legality of that in maybe 65 years.
Go to Canada.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. Do I have a hunch about how I'll die? No, I really don't. The only thing I have a hunch about is that one of my greatest fears is aging. I am terrified of it. This is literally my greatest fear, is getting old.
I know, you talk about it all the time.
Because of that, I think I'm going to be ancient. So that I have to face my fear.
Yes.
So my hunch is that I'm going to be a lot older than I ever wanted to be when I die. Because I didn't really want to be that old.
Probably.
Yeah.
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 In which case, you might just die of old age.
Yeah, I might just die in my sleep. I guess Titanic style is how I want to go. I contend that she died at the end of that movie and that it wasn't just a dream. And she was really old. She was too old. I do not need to be 102 or however old she was. But I like the idea of just dying in your sleep and waking up to a hot man at the top of the stairs.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
It's not a bad way to go.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. So now I have a question for you. Given the choice of anyone in the world, whom would you want as a dinner guest?
Well, this isn't going to surprise you at all. It shouldn't surprise you when I say Liz Gilbert. Mm-hmm. We talk about her all the time.
We do talk about her all the time.
Oh, also, that was one of my questions.
Oh.
I picked for you. Well, I shouldn't have surprised us that we picked the same question, but I'm going to pick a bonus question after that.
Okay. Well,
hold
then
on. I didn't talk about why I wanted to have Liz Gilbert.
I wanted to hear more about that. I mean,
no, you didn't. You just said that to save face.
No, not that I'm surprised. I mean, I already know why, but you can tell everyone else why.
Well, they need to know. She's like the cool aunt you wish you had. I mean, not that I don't have cool aunts. I'm just saying I want her as a cool aunt. She's really wise, and she just has the biggest capacity to love and to be creative.
She really does.
And to recover from heartbreak. I mean, this is a woman who got divorced, went on her Eat, Pray, Love journey, met a man, very like vulnerably got married again, even though she was afraid of entering into a marriage, left that marriage to be with her dying best friend, who she realized, I'm in love with this woman. They didn't really get married, but they had sort of a commitment ceremony. And then her partner died a year ago. And now she just posted the other day on Instagram about how she is in love again with a man that actually was a close friend of her former partners.
Wow.
And I'm just like, that is too much for me. I could never do that. That would be so much heartbreak, so much love. I just don't have that capacity. The range that she has is phenomenal. And I just want to sit around her and like just soak up her wisdom.
I know. I have so much respect for her ability to go through just the most extreme experiences in love and relationships and still come back.
Every time, bounce back from it, like, and she's really processing it. She's not bypassing it. She's not emotionally suppressing. She's feeling all of it. Yeah. Which I think this is why I want to talk to her. She's a great testament to what we say about your capacity to experience the ugly things of life, grief and suffering, make you equally as able on the opposite end of the spectrum to experience love and joy and true fulfillment. And she's the perfect example of someone who, because she can do the really, really hard stuff, she has this amazing life on the other side of that.
Yeah, her range of emotion and capacity to love is phenomenal. Yeah.
All right, so who would you want at your dinner party?
I think you would also want this person. Maybe we could have a joint dinner party with both of these people, but I would choose J.K. Rowling. I mean, just one of the most brilliant women who's ever lived, I believe.
Yes, I love her. I wish she would just stop tweeting, though, because I know you don't know that she does this, but...
I know that she tweets a lot, but I haven't been up on...
Well, she keeps, like, retconning things or sort of inserting things no one needs to know about, you know, like Grindelwald and Dumbledore's sex life. And it's just kind of like, stop while you were ahead.
Yeah.
And, like, it's great, but people are kind of getting annoyed with her now. And it's like, don't ruin the thing that is great. You know, don't ruin it for us. Yeah. But I mean, you can't fault. And listen, genius, madness, there's a real thin line.
Oh, yeah.
And you got to appreciate her for what she did for our childhoods.
Absolutely. And I also have so much appreciation for the personal life journey she's been on. I also believe that she's had so much contrast in her life where she was absolutely poverty-stricken, destitute, and now she's experienced wealth like none of us will ever know. So I just think her life story is phenomenal. I think she is a genius. And I probably wouldn't even know what to ask her if I had dinner with her. I would just be sitting there fangirling too hard. But I just want to be in her presence.
Okay. All right. So you're going to ask me a bonus question?
Yeah. I have another question on the list that I wanted to ask you. And you've actually... This is the perfect question given what you just said about your fear of aging.
Right. We're doing a bonus question because we both picked the dinner guest question.
Okay. So, if you were able to live to the age of 90 and retain either the mind or the body of a 30-year-old for the last 60 years of your life, which one would you want? Body.
Because, like, I am 30. So here I am. This is me. So that would mean that this would be my mind for the next 60 years.
Right.
Well, listen, girl's got a damn fine mind already. I'm fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I knew you were going to say that.
Hell yeah. I want to be hot until I die. That would make aging a lot better. Also, that would have to mean that I'm hot now, which sometimes I don't feel. But do we ever have days where we always feel good looking? But I'm definitely hotter now than I will be at 90. I can say that for a fact. And I mean, I know I'm supposed to say, no, I want the wisdom. And I'm like, I don't know. I've done a lot of work. My brain feels pretty evolved at this point. I just, it would be fun because also when you're physically feeling fit and good, you're capable of so many more things.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like your quality of life is so much better.
Well, I'm going to pick the opposite.
Of course you would.
I pick mine because I'm thinking if all of my people are aging,
and I was the only one who was hot,
and I was the only one who looked like a 30-year-old, I think that would be weird.
I know.
Because I'm assuming one day I'll get married, and it would be really weird to be married to a man who's like 80, and he looks 80, and I look 30.
But I feel like, but here's the thing. I feel like my mind is still going to be grossed out by that either way. So it's like I'm going to be 80 and grossed out by him, or I'm going to be 30 and grossed out by him. Well, I might as well be hot and grossed out by him.
I don't know. I also think that I can age perfectly gracefully. I think I can age and still
Well, we both know that aging is my worst fear. So obviously this is why I'm picking this. I know that I have work to do, people. I know that I sound shallow. Don't come at me in the comments on this, okay?
No, I bet people are more split between this one than you would imagine.
If you're as shallow as me, I want to hear it from you. Okay? I don't want to feel like I'm the only one who struggles with this and is afraid of aging. Also,
look, I'm not looking forward to how I'm going to look at 90. I'm not saying,
wow, I really want my boobs to be on my belly button.
Oh, yeah, looking fine, girl. But I just think I know how much mentally and emotionally I have changed in the past even just decade. So give me 60 more decades. I'm going to be so freaking wise. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited about that.
I mean, I agree. I'm more torn than you think I am. But also this is ridiculous and it's not going to happen. So it doesn't really matter. And I have to just get over my fear because, the alternative is dying young and I don't really want to do that. So I'm going to be stuck with getting over this. I know I need to work through it. I realize that I've internalized probably society's messages about women not being able to age, even though men are allowed to age.
Absolutely.
Like men are allowed to look rugged and women just look haggard. In what world is that fair? But anyway, that's my burden to bear. Anyway, all right, enough. Okay. So
now we're moving on to section 2. Slightly more vulnerable questions.
Okay. What do you value most in a friendship?
Can I pick 2 things? Didn't say the top thing.
No. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't matter if I don't care. One
is more lighthearted and one is more meaningful, I guess. I don't know.
Sappy?
I don't know if it's really sappy. It's just...
You're not going to make me cry. I'm positive.
No, I'm not going to make you cry.
You've never made me cry about that kind of a thing. You made me cry about other things, not that.
Well, first, I have to say humor. I just appreciate humor in all of my friendships so much. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I laugh all the time if you haven't heard me do that on all these podcasts. So it doesn't even take a lot.
No, but I mean, I'm fond of saying that if you have a pulse, Kristen thinks you're funny.
No, that's not true. I've been on a few first dates in the past several years where I was like, I can't do this.
Well, that shocks me, really, that there's someone who's that unfunny. Because really, anyone can make you laugh. So if they can't make you laugh, they're really like just cardboard in person form.
Exactly. So that's very important to me, is humor and wit. But I would also say one of my values that I hold within myself is loyalty. And so I really appreciate that in other people. And I think that when you have a sense of loyalty, like this person is just one of my people now, then you can be even more yourself. Because there's no fear that I'm going to say something and they're going to be like, oh, never mind, you're weird. I don't want to be around you anymore. If it's like, no, we're kind of in this thing, then you can be as weird and vulnerable as you want to be. And you don't really have to worry about them leaving you because of anything that you say or share about yourself.
Well, that also tells me that you're afraid of people leaving you.
Yeah, I think I probably was more when I was younger. I'm not really afraid of it anymore, but I still value loyalty.
I've had conversations with you all too recently that centered pretty closely on the theme of being afraid that people were going to leave or abandon you, or like...
Yeah, it's still lingering.
It's more there than you might realize that it's there. But yeah, okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
I think you should probably be able to... I think that I should quiz you until you should say what I'm going to say. Can
Honesty?
you come up with... Yes. Yeah, you're right. Didn't take you more than a second. Yeah. That's like it. Honesty, transparency, the realer you can be, the more I like you. Yeah. I mean, pretense is gross. I hate it. I like people who are just straight up real and honest, and they don't try to hide, and they don't try to pretend that they're worse than they are or better than they are. And they don't try to hide their flaws from people. They're just out and proud. And they're like, this is who I am. Sorry, ? But not sorry.
I totally appreciate that too.
Yeah.
That's very
And I will
important to me.
call people out if they're not being like that. I've called you out a number of times.
Oh,
But
yeah.
Not when you were being dishonest, because it's not like you were lying. But I mean, I think that the arguments you and I have had or the problems we've had have often been because you're like telling yourself an untruth. And I'm like, no, I don't want to see you in denial. Or
Yeah, that's one of
no,
your...
I don't want you to try to pretend that you feel better than you do. Just feel the way that you do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the probably main qualities that anyone who knows you well would say, is that you are a truth teller, even in the moments when
Yeah, and therefore
it's hard.
I like that in other people too.
Yeah,
I
for
feel
sure.
a kinship with people like that. And I just love it. I think when you can be the most honest with people and yourself, you have the best conversations. You make the most progress. You grow the most. I mean, I just don't think there's much in life that can't be served by honesty. So
Agreed.
there you go.
Okay. Next one. If a crystal ball could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, the future, or anything else, what would you want to know?
Oh, this is a hard question though. Well, so I think in a earlier incarnation of myself, I would have said I want to know the future, and I'm a little warier of that now. Because I think that if someone tells you an aspect of your future, and I think then you freak out about it, or you're trying to like make it happen. And I don't know. I think you gotta be careful when you're playing around with predicting the future. So I guess I'd want to know something about myself. Like something I don't know about myself that might be blocking me, like a really secret block or a really deep issue that I haven't uncovered.
Yeah.
I think that would be the most useful, I think.
Agreed.
Because then you feel more empowered. You can bust through the block. You can get to the point where you're just making all these connections. And you're like, oh, this is why I act the way I do. Or this is why I have a problem around that. Like that to me would be really useful.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think I would want to know anything about my own future because I don't think that's super helpful. But I worry a lot about the future of the planet.
I don't know if I want to know.
I think I would want to know.
Well, but then that might be akin to telling you, well, you're going to die of drowning on this day.
I know.
Or you're going to collapse from a heat wave on this day.
But there's just so much uncertainty, and I don't
be depressing.
know. Yeah.
I don't know. That's a real risk.
It is a real risk.
That's a Russian roulette type of situation.
But if the planet's going to implode in like 25 years, I feel like I might want to know that.
Well, I won't have to make it to old age. If
I
that's
might decide, do I want to bring kids into the... I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's a really heavy question.
Yeah.
See, these are getting heavier as we go on. I don't know. I want to play it safe and just know something about myself. Maybe that's selfish. But I'm also the only one I have control over. That's how I feel, is like knowing things about my future. I feel like I don't have control over that. I don't want to try to make it happen or then avoid it and make it happen. We've all read enough books about time traveling that you just don't want to mess with the future. But knowing things about the planet or larger political things, I just feel like it feels like there's nothing you can singularly do about that to prevent it from happening. So at least if you're getting information about yourself, you can work on that.
I should want to do that. And I do want to do that. But I just stress about it a lot. And I would just kind of
I feel like that make you stress more, but okay.
Maybe.
All right. So now we're moving into section 3, which is supposedly the most deep questions. Though I don't know that the ones we picked are necessarily the deepest of these questions. I think we probably picked the safest of this bunch, just because they were the most appropriate to talk about.
And the most entertaining, I think.
Yeah. Or at least the one I picked is. Okay, so your house containing everything you own catches fire. After saving your loved ones and pets, you have time to safely make a final dash to save any one item. What would it be and why?
I have a box of items. I should come up with a cooler name for it. I just call it my special box, or I don't know, something.
I don't like that.
That sounds weird. I know.
I don't like it.
I don't really love it. I actually never thought about what I called it until
I have a special box. Do you want to see it?
But it's a box of just old letters that people wrote me or photos.
I have one of these. I call it a memory box.
That's better. I like that better.
Yeah, I wouldn't save it though, but continue. It's a lot of like ex-boyfriend stuff. I'm like, let it burn.
Well, mine used to be, and then I cleared it out several years ago.
I've done that a couple
and
times.
so now it's stuff that I actually would want to save.
Yeah.
So
I feel, that's a good choice.
It has mementos. It has things that I would be sad if they were gone. And I can replace my computer. I can replace my clothes. I can replace my...
Well, insurance would pay for that.
Exactly. I mean, the physical stuff doesn't bother me so much, but the memento things, I would want to save those.
Yeah, I have one of those, and I would be tempted to save it. I could probably grab it with the other thing that I'm intending to
You
grab.
only pick one thing.
Well, whatever.
That's the question.
I cheat. That's also a known thing about me. I think the thing that it would occur to me to save first is that gift my parents gave me for my college graduation. I went to the same college as my great-grandfather. Well, Kristen and I both went to Tech, and my great-grandfather went there. And when my parents were cleaning out my grandparents' house, they found this postcard that my great-great-grandmother had written to my great-grandfather, her son, about his trunk getting there on the train or something like that. It wasn't meaningless. Like, it didn't mean it. It was just like a little update actually, he wrote it to her. Like, I got to college safely postcard. But it's from 1917.
Oh, that's cool.
The picture on the front is like 100-year-old like image or painting of what like one of the main streets at Tech looked like at the time. And it's recognizable barely 100 years later. Like, you can tell what it is. And I thought that was really cool.
That is really cool.
So you can't replace a 100-year-old postcard.
No.
And I thought that was pretty rad.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want that to burn up.
That's a good choice.
Yeah. Also, I love history and old things, and that just says a lot about the things that I care about. Nothing current, obviously. It's got to be something ancient that, of course, propels me.
Replace all current stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the last question.
Last question.
Okay.
Share an embarrassing moment in your life.
Well, here's a classic. One of the most physically embarrassing things to have ever happened to me was when I was at a water park when I was 15. And we went down one of those really like tall, just like a water slide, but it was open air. And then there was like the chute at the bottom where you kind of slowed down.
I can see where this
and
is
I was
going
wearing
already.
a bikini. And everyone gathers at the bottom to like greet their relatives or the people who had gone down the slide. So I went down the slide and I stand up at the bottom of the chute. And all these people are looking at me really weird. And this 8-year-old kid is gaping at me. And I look down and my top is just not on. Like I have thankfully it was still there. Like I quickly was like covered my boobs. But I had flashed like 30 people.
Oh, no.
And I mean, not just casually. We're just talking like tits out. Yeah. And I think I gave that 8-year-old boy his first glimpse of boobs.
Well,
I'm guessing he remembers that.
Probably.
Yeah, it was probably very memorable. And so I felt hot shame after that and real embarrassment, which maybe I shouldn't. But in America, we have such a thing we're so awkward about nakedness and stuff. And I like that I had to look down to realize that I didn't even understand why they were staring at me for a second.
Oh,
yeah, I was like, oh, well, my boobs are just hanging out. So that happened.
Okay.
Mine,
I think, is more embarrassing, but, well.
Okay.
So, okay. When I was 18, I was in my first real relationship, and we'd been together since I was 15, so 3 years. So obviously that was going to be my person. We were going to get married. That was that. Clearly. Because when you've been together for 3 years in high school, that's like a done deal.
I mean, that's a decade in normal person years.
Exactly. So he decided to go off to West Point for college.
The military
college, the Army. And I was not going to follow him there. But because...
You weren't quite that crazy.
I wasn't quite that crazy to go to West Point. But you were a little crazy. But I was on the way to being that crazy. So I went to Virginia Tech, and they have not just ROTC, like most colleges have, but they have what they call the Corps of Cadets, where you actually live in
A core dorm.
And you have to wear the uniform every day. And it's like being immersed in military life.
And you go a week or two early, right? To school
a week
for
early.
like boot camp?
Well, it's not real boot camp. But it's
like boot camp
their
light.
version. Yeah, boot camp light.
Like Hell Week, but not really.
And I thought, well, you know what? If he's going to be in the Army, then I should probably also be in the Army so we can be stationed together, which is mind-boggling to me now because no one is less better suited to the military than me.
Yeah.
And on day one, I knew this was a terrible mistake. I never should have done this. I hated it from moment one. But they had a rule that said you can't drop out within the first of the Corps of Cadets within the first 6 weeks of school without dropping out of the entire
semester.
School for the semester.
Yeah.
So because I wasn't going to drop out of school for a semester because, hello, I'm a huge school nerd here. Like, that wasn't even an option for me.
Yeah, that just felt like impossible.
It's just impossible. So I stuck it out for 6 weeks. Mind you, that boyfriend and I had already broken up at that time. So here I am for no good reason in the Corps of Cadets when I should be at normal college hanging out with normal
people. You're like doing push-ups.
I'm doing push-ups and I'm wearing the uniform and my hair back in a little bun every day and the little hats and everything and hating my life and counting down until I can correct this terrible mistake.
Didn't he break up with you in a letter? Because they weren't allowed to email or have their phone for like the first semester, right?
Or
something
the
like
whole
that.
first summer, and I think it was very limited.
Because my brother also went to a military school, and
so we would write
that
letters.
first semester, literally the only way you could contact them was if you stole an older person's phone or if you wrote letters.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
And so he wrote you a Dear John letter.
He did.
Yeah.
Well, because we've been writing letters all summer, which made it more romantic, of course.
Yeah, and even worse when he broke up with you and you were stuck in the Corps of Cadets.
Yeah, it was awful. It was bad. And so that was super embarrassing.
That was how far 18-year-old Kristen was willing to go for a dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was not my best moment.
I met her hot off the heels of getting out of the Corps.
You did. Until you never saw me in my little uniform.
And when I met you, I was like, that is impossible. How could you have done that? She's just the least likely person. She's so small and she's so like kind of delicate and feminine. And she's
I hate
quiet.
violence. And I hate...
Right. Like
and I was learning how to load guns and stuff.
It's just so out of character.
Well, and I knew it immediately. I was like, uh-oh, this was a really bad choice. So there you have it. My most embarrassing moment.
That's pretty embarrassing. I mean, I guess that's worse than flashing someone for 3 seconds.
Yeah, it was 6 weeks.
Of 6 weeks. Oh, Lord. Okay. Can I ask one more question that's not on the list, but I think I want to add a question.
Sure.
I'm sorry. I know you don't like being put on the spot.
That's all right. I'll figure it out.
But I think it's fun. Okay. So what is one surprising thing you like about me and one unsurprising thing you don't like about me? Do you need time to think?
Yeah.
Or should I answer you first? Or should I say yours first? Because I already have yours locked and loaded, ready to go. Well, I got to think about it because it occurred to me a while ago.
I almost feel like my answers might be the same.
Well,
but yeah, you go ahead and give me
and then you can think about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. One surprising thing. Okay, let me start with an unsurprising thing I don't like about you.
Okay.
You're slow as hell.
I'm just a slow person.
I cannot with you. I mean, I'm telling you.
Not mentally slow. I'm not like
No. Well,
smart.
you process things slowly.
I'm an internal process.
Right. Like, I'm not saying that means she's dumb. I'm saying she just, when she needs to make a decision, she takes a really long time to think about it. Like, Kristen does not do anything quickly. She does not move quickly. She does not drink a beverage quickly. She can't eat quickly. She can't walk quickly.
Nope, it's true.
So if you're with Kristen, you have to go very much slower than you want to go, if you're me, at least.
That's true.
And so that I find annoying a lot of the time. Like, if I'm traveling with you, I'm like, oh my God, pick up the pace.
That's
and
true.
one surprising thing I do like about you, you're going to be like, I'm sure you're wondering what I'm going to say because...
Yeah, I really don't know.
Surprising thing I do like about you. I guess I would say I like the fact that you're very patient and that you're very amenable and flexible, even though I have given you crap about that at times, because I think it can get you in trouble. I do think being overly flexible can get a person in trouble. If they're too adaptable, then they'll go with someone's desires that they shouldn't be going along with. But I also am understanding of the fact that if you weren't like that, we would never get along.
Right, absolutely.
Because I am not like that. And so we balance each other out. And I actually am appreciative of the fact that you are adaptable, even though I've given you crap for it before.
Okay, I'll take that.
Okay.
Okay, so one unsurprising thing that I don't like, I don't even think this is I don't like it, but we're just different in this way.
You're allowed to just not like something about me, you know?
Well, but I'm just saying I don't think I totally dislike it, but you are more structured than me.
Yeah, rigid.
Yeah, and so, things have to be done in a very particular time, and I would be more fluid with things, like when we're hanging out, or again, when we're traveling, I would be more go with the flow. But because I'm adaptable, I'm mostly like, okay, if you have a particular time you want to do something, I'm usually cool with that. So again, I don't dislike it, but I just wouldn't do it quite that way. And it can go a little far sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I have gotten very angry with people who can't load the dishwasher correctly, for example.
Yeah, you totally have.
I mean, there is a right way to do that.
And then, I'm not sure if you'll be surprised by this, but even though there have been times where I acted like I didn't like your directness and that I maybe didn't in the moment, I do appreciate that about you, that you were just a very direct person.
I mean, I know that you appreciate that. That's not really surprising. Yeah. I don't think you could have surprised me, and vice versa.
Right. It's not really surprising, but there have been moments when I led you to believe I didn't like it. But I really do on the whole.
And in the moment, I didn't care that you didn't like it because I knew it was right.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, I don't care if you don't like what I'm saying right now. This is the right thing to be saying.
I know.
You need to hear this. Who gives a crap what you think about it? But yeah, okay, I'm good. Now I'm going to use that on you later when I tell you something you don't want to hear. And I'm going to be like, remember that time? Actually, I can go play it for you.
Oh, no.
You told me you liked this.
I'll remind you that you like my adaptability as well sometimes when it's relevant.
Ugh, gross. Okay. All right. So as we're wrapping up this episode that was very random and spur of the moment, which normally I don't like, but I got to control it. So that was good. I thought it would also be good because this is a celebration of a year of podcasting.
As part of this anniversary episode, we're going to run through the top 10 podcasts of the last year. And do you want to tell people
the top 10 most downloaded episodes by you guys of the last year? So we've had over 100 episodes, and these are the top 10. And I really, really wanted to add like 18,000. Well, not 18,000. I wanted to add a lot more to this list, but I'm only going to keep it to 10. And maybe later this month, I'll come up with a separate list about ones that weren't in the top 10, but that Kristen and I really want you to listen to.
Yes.
Because that's a totally different list.
Our favorites and the top 10, they're probably overlap, but...
Yeah, but there are some that are not in here that I really...
it's different lists.
I think are really important. So you want to kind of alternate and go back and forth and count backward up to the top. And also, I'll let you know, this list will be in the episode description with the dates. So you don't have to remember what we're saying. But if you're new to the podcast and you're interested in what is the most popular, what are the things everyone has agreed are the most worth listening to, then go to the episode description and you can look at all of the titles. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll have links as well. So if some of these aren't on YouTube, you can find them on our site or on your favorite podcast app.
Okay, great. So do you want to read number 10?
Sure. Number 10. This is a normal person interview from November 2018, Treating Life Like a Magical Scavenger Hunt with Francisca Hernandez.
I like that one. I'm going to say that about all of them. So
that one was great. Do we need to do that for all of them? I mean, I kind of want to explain why it's great.
Just very briefly.
Okay. Treating Life Like a Magical Scavenger Hunt was great if you're the type of person who wants to just let go of needing to control or understand the outcome and trust that life and the universe are conspiring to help your life work out. And if you want to, apply that magical thinking to your own life, Francisca is a great example of that.
Okay, number 9. Getting Unstuck from a Beige Existence with Nate Otto. And that one is from July 2018. Nate Otto, another normal person interview. a previous client of mine who was feeling,
he's from the Midwest.
The title is a great one.
The most creative, innovative thinker who felt like, I do not belong here. How do I get out?
He's such a colorful person and personality, and he was living in such a beige office, like physically in a beige existence, but also his life just felt very beige. And so he describes how he moved out of that and lived in a way that's more aligned with his very creative personality.
8. This is a side chat from April 2018 called We Are Not the Crazy Ones, How to Tell If You're a Highly Sensitive Person. That one is self-explanatory.
Oh, yeah.
If you think you might be a highly sensitive, you need to listen to that.
And a lot of people who follow us fall into that camp.
Almost everybody is sensitive, and a lot of you are highly sensitive. So that is really a must listen.
I send a lot of my clients to that one. That's a really staple episode. Okay. Number 7, Ditching Your Perfectionism with Therese Hahn, another normal person interview. And the title is very self-explanatory. She talks about how she used to be much more of a perfectionist, people pleaser, wanting to control everything, and how she has let a lot of that go and how her life has changed as a result.
And that one's from October 2018.
Yeah.
6, How to Work Less, Live More, and Make Great Money with Katie Mongelli. And that one is from July 2018. Again, very self-explanatory. If you are overworked and feeling like, I don't know how I'm ever going to get off this train of having to feel like I have to do more, this is a really necessary episode.
Yep. Number 5 from April 2018, Emotional Constipation with Joanna Platt, an expert interview about how to feel your feelings again. Most of us have gotten so caught up in our logical brains that we don't even know how we feel about things. We've cut off our emotions because we're scared of them. So how to express your emotions in a healthy way.
And realize that you're constipated in the first place. Because a lot of people don't even realize they're constipated, emotionally speaking.
But most people are.
Yeah, to a degree, most people are for sure. Okay, number 4. A former recruiter tells all and helps you get hired with Emily Liu from September 2018. Emily is great. She's a coach. She was trained at the same institute that we were. And she's also a former recruiter. So that was a really cool conversation because we got to ask her a lot of questions that Kristen and I just aren't the experts on about how to find a job, how to search, how to network, the logical, tangible things that you guys care about, but that just aren't our bag.
And she gives some, I would say, surprising advice. It's really not just helpful things that you imagine she's going to say. There's things that maybe you haven't thought of before. It's really, really helpful. Okay. Number 3, Exploring the 16 Personality Types with Leslie McDaniel from August 2018. That one is all about the Myers-Briggs and all the different components that make up your Myers-Briggs profile. And Leslie is a true expert in this. And
she's trained.
We learned things about the Myers-Briggs, and I thought we knew a fair amount about it beforehand.
But she schooled us on it.
She did. And it'll really help you understand your personality type much more in depth.
Yeah, and why you make the decisions you do, why you think the way you do, why you're attracted to what you're attracted to. It really turned on some lights for me. And a lot of people, I have a lot of people listen to that, a lot of my clients. Number 2, this is a side chat from June 2018. I mean, a classic. How to figure out what to do with your life. Basically, my and Kristen's philosophy in 40 minutes. It's a great place to start if you're new to Clarity on Fire.
Yep.
I would say that's maybe the first episode you should listen to if you're brand new and you just discovered us and you want to go back. That one's going to help you a lot because it'll familiarize you the most, I think, with Clarity on Fire's general philosophy and process and just our take on what it actually means to figure out what you want to do with your life.
And it was probably the question you had that led us to us in the first place.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good starting place.
Yeah.
And number 1, wish we had a drum roll or something. A side chat on curing your people-pleasing disease from May 2018. Apparently, we have a lot of people pleasers in our following and our audience.
All of these others, 2 to 10, have moved around, have changed over the past many months. This has been fixed. Nothing has ever knocked this out of number 1. So you guys have given yourselves away because apparently y'all people please.
And now we know.
So that one is a side chat it's pretty long. It's like a solid hour. We really got into.
Well, we also get into a book.
Well, it's The Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker.
So it's not a bonus book club one, but it sort of is a book club one plus a side chat. And we give the highlights of that book and some really, really fascinating theories that she shares. So if you have an inkling that you might be a people pleaser or you know anyone who was, this is our number one most popular one. So you definitely want to give this a listen.
Mm-hmm. Okay. This was really hard because I'm thinking of at least 10 more episodes that I'm like, but you need to listen to this too.
Well, we can do that later.
Won't, maybe at the end of Britt's episode, I'll come back with a list of ones of Krachel's favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, very Krachel-centric month. But you know what? It's our anniversary. We should celebrate ourselves.
Yeah, we're going all out.
Treat yourself with some Krachel. Okay. I appreciate you guys going on a random ride with us, but I hope that this inspired you to ask some good questions of your friends and new people and old people in your life.
Also, if you want to answer any of these questions in the comments, I would love to know your answers.
Of course. I love a deep conversation about something taboo or awkward, even better. So we will see you on Tuesday with a new blog from Kristen.
Me.
And later this month, we'll have an expert interview with us. But the trick this time will be that our friend Britt created a list of questions that she's dying to ask us and that we're not going to know about. So similar, but different.
Yeah, it's not just us asking each other questions.
Yeah. So anyway, you're going to get a lot more where this came from throughout the rest of this month. And
hopefully if you're listening, you like listening to us talk about stuff. So you're just getting extra of that this month.
Should we also?
That's why you're here.
Yeah. Well, of course. Should we also I have a couple more things to say. One, really, there's no Dear Krachel in the top 10. I find that to be offensive. So
I didn't even notice that. That's true.
Right. The ones where Krachel's getting asked questions are apparently not that popular. No, I'm kidding. There are right below 10. There are some Dear Krachels, but people like interviews, and I understand that.
Yeah.
And they really like our side chats, which actually is just us talking about stuff. So
right. That's true.
I have a theory that the reason those 10 are the 10 is because I named most of those, and I'm pretty good at naming episodes that sound like, ooh, I want to listen to that. That sounds juicy.
Yeah, that's one of your talents. Yeah. Is naming things and subject lines that are intriguing.
Right. Making people. Well, I've named most of our episodes, so clearly not all of them were winners. But some of them were real tasty sounding, apparently. So
also none of them were blogs. But I guess that makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean, those aren't...
Because some people just read it.
Sure, and also those just aren't going to ever be as fascinating to me as the in-depth conversations.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, like, I'm not offended by that at all. And I guess I should say thank you. Because we've been doing this for a year, and we wouldn't be doing it if no one was listening and no one cared. And
I know, and it's growing every month, so that's
really,
exciting.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you for sharing it with your people, because that's part of why it's been growing.
Yeah.
And that's motivating to us to want to keep doing it.
Yeah, and we had you guys do a survey a month ago, and a lot of you said really nice things and thanked us and encouraged us to keep doing what we're doing. And I really appreciate that. And I really like doing this. I'm really glad we started doing this a year ago. It's been something I really look forward to. It's been a bright spot in my life. That's, kind of dramatic, but it's true. And I welcome your guys' feedback and comments. And if there's ever a subject you want us to tackle, feel free to let us know. Leave a comment on this episode or email us at contact@clarityonfire.com
or submit a Dear Krachel question.
Of course, there's always a link to submit Dear Krachel questions in every episode. So, okay. And also you can always leave us a rating and review if you haven't already, because that's the best way to say thank you. Is to hit those sweet 5 stars and leave us an
anniversary review for our anniversary. That would be a great gift.
Present. This is our paper anniversary. It's 1 year. I'll accept electronic correspondence as paper in the form of reviews.
Sure.
That works, right? That checks out. Okay. We'll see you on Tuesday with a new blog.
Okay. See you then.